Welcome to Van Lathan's The Red Pill, where we give you the brutal reality of truth. On today's episode, Jamilah Lemieux, black feminist, activist, writer, all kinds of different stuff. Very, very intelligent woman. We talked to her about the Killer Mike controversy. Why is everyone trying to cancel Killer Mike? We talk about cancel culture, period. Why is she always on Twitter trying to cancel people? And talk about the most important thing you can talk to a black feminist about: twerk videos. Where do they have a place in the culture? And do females have a twerk video equivalent? Very enlightening conversation with Jamilah. Brothers, open your ears. Listen to the women. Start right now. Pop some pills. Let's get into it.
I just want to make sure I have lipstick on my teeth.
Get them on her to working. Look at her. She's teasing her hair.
You got me lit like I'm a little darker than I am.
See what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? That's the AKA vibes coming out right there.
I'm just saying.
She doesn't want to be darker. She doesn't want to be darker than the paper bag.
Really?
She doesn't want to be darker than the paper bag. It's the AKA. Let me tell you something. Maddie might not know about this. And Jason, I'm sure you guys don't know about this. There's a historically black.
No.
AKAs,
not
Alpha Kappa
on
Alpha.
Today.
And they are known
Don't do this to
for
me.
having a paper bag test where they don't let darker skinned ladies.
That's ridiculous.
True or false? Does that ever happen?
That's false.
So the AKAs never had the paper bag test.
No one had the paper bag test.
So there was
It's been debunked. Was there colorism?
Debunked by who?
Yes. I believe it was Jelani Cobb.
Who is that?
He's a scholar.
So he's a scholar, and he knows that there was. How does he know definitively?
He's a historian.
Okay, I don't know who he is. I'll have to.
Good God.
But okay, let me ask you this then. First of all, white people clap for Jamilah Lemieux. Clap louder. Clap louder. There's only two of y'all today. So, question.
Did you turn the lighting down a little bit though? It was.
She doesn't want to look too dark.
No, it's not that. You
She doesn't
fool.
wanna
It's
look-
that. Turn the monitor on. Please include this first. Please include. Are you recording yet?
Yeah, we're recording.
Please include this. I look lighter. Turn the monitor on so he can see it because I'm lit. The lighting is for someone who's darker. So I look white. You can't even see. I look like two little eyebrows and some lips.
Right. Let me tell you something, man.
Sure.
There are a lot of people out here in the Twitter sphere that are going to be surprised by the rampant sort of materialism and the image consciousness of Jamilah Lemieux.
I can't stand you.
Who is a spokesperson for the woke community of Twitter.
I don't even use the word woke.
Let me tell you something. We've had a lot of people on the podcast. Jamilah was actually one of Root's most 100 influential black people of all time.
I was one of Root's most 100.
Give it up.
Thank you.
Of all time. She was just ahead of
all time.
She was just ahead of Madam C.J. Walker and just behind Omarosa.
You're such a terrible behind. Hold on now. Pretty sure when the Roots make their list of the 100 most important, that Questlove will vote me above Omarosa.
Omarosa.
If no one else.
So let me ask you this.
Yes.
Colorism.
Yes.
You just displayed some of it. You didn't want to seem too dark.
I hate everything about you, and I want you to remember that.
I'm not just. You just display. You don't want to. You're an AKA. You don't want to seem too dark. It's okay.
You don't know how words work, and I said that the lighting was for someone darker.
What does that mean, though?
That
That's
means
pejorative.
It's making me look lighter. It's brighter than it needs to be because my skin is already bright.
So what you're saying is that you don't want to come off looking too fair skinned then, because then you'll be kicked out of Timbuktu with the rest of the woke people.
I want to be lit.
Okay.
For a woman of my complexion.
Every day we lit.
I just like to look pretty.
All right.
So that when your terrifying fans see this,
terrifying fans,
at least they'll say, "Well, she's not ugly."
I have a question. You have to do something. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what it is that you do, and just the whole Jamilah Lemieux story.
Okay. Abbreviated version. So, my name is Jamilah Lemieux. I am originally from Chicago, Illinois. I went to Whitney Young High School, like First Lady Michelle Obama. Went to Howard University. And then I moved to New York City to try and figure my life out. And I decided I wanted to move to Brooklyn when I was 12, and I did it as soon as I graduated college. Didn't really have a plan. I knew I wanted to write, and I enjoyed writing. And so a few jobs that really weren't for me later. I finally had the courage and the bylines to just set out as a freelance writer. Well, I got fired from a job, so I didn't decide to be freelance.
They decided.
They decided, and
Right.
I decided to remain freelance.
Sure.
And so then
More freedom for you.
more freedom for me, and just time to pursue what I really wanted to do. You know, at this point, I might have been 26. You know, I wasn't that young. And I ended up getting hired to work for Ebony Magazine, which was just kind of an incredible,
a prestige job, if you will.
Very much so, you know, especially for it to be my first full-time editorial job. And I was there for almost 5 years. Really proud of the work that we did, even though you can't really see the remnants of it anywhere.
What does that mean?
Go back. The beautiful website we had designed was redesigned. The magazine has changed tremendously since we left. You know, the team I worked with, and but in summer 2016, I went over to I1 Digital, which is the digital arm of the Radio One, TV One family of companies, and became the vice president of news and men's programming.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Men's programming, huh?
Yeah, you know.
Interesting.
And so the news is newsone.com, and the men's is Cassius, which is cassiuslife.com. That's our millennial male-facing platform, lifestyle news, you know, sex, fashion, health, wellness, etc. And that's where I am. So I'm a writer, thinker, do a lot of public speaking and stuff. Been on a couple of shows.
And
sometimes
kind of increasing that sort of that bag of tricks every day. There's some new things that you're going to be doing in the future.
Yeah.
I want to ask you about your sort of online and cultural presence, your identity on there, if you will. You are known as...
Don't nobody know me.
They do know you.
I ain't nobody.
They do know you. They know you. You're a feminist. You're like one of the leading black feminist voices on the internet. Would you say that? It's probably true.
Somewhere on the totem pole. I wouldn't say at the top or anything. I might have faded out a little bit, got quiet.
Why did you get quiet? Why would you get quiet about feminism?
Never gotten quiet about feminism, but I you know, I'm quite busy with my job, and I don't have as much time to write as I used to. And I feel like a lot of my good ideas have gotten lost on Twitter when I should have been fleshing them out into articles. So I've been working on that more lately. So I have been a little quiet. So I wouldn't say leading, but I'll say that I'm proud to be in that number at all, and I see where this online conversation about feminism has gone, and the offline conversation too, right?
Sure.
Most of the well, not most of the conversations we have each day, but a good percentage of them are offline, right? And like I started calling myself a feminist when I was like 12 or 13. You know what I mean? Like I'm 33 years old, so I've been doing this for a very long time.
How do you call yourself a feminist at 12?
I mean, the same way you could call yourself an atheist, or you know.
I wasn't calling myself at 12. I wasn't calling myself anything yet. The only thing at 12 I was concerned at is looking at bra straps.
At some point,
trying to find out how to see. I remember the first time I saw a girl's bra strap, and I realized that it was like titties actually under the bra, because breasts were a concept, and then they became a real thing. And then seeing the strap of the bra.
That took you to a place.
Yeah, because the strap of the bra means that there's actually something inside of the bra, which means that there are actually titties that you might one day get to see or touch. That's very important. That's what I was thinking about at 12. But you were thinking about how to save the world for women.
In certain ways, yeah. And it's funny because that made me think. I was like, well, what's the female equivalent or, you know, straight female equivalent?
Did you guys look at bulges and balls and stuff?
I wasn't looking at those yet. But I feel like the moment for me, and I'd always been interested in boys and always been attracted to boys.
Okay.
Shut up.
Heating it up at 12.
You're an awful person. I
love
nothing about you is good. Except you're kind of tall. No, I just remember the D'Angelo video. That's 2001. So I wasn't 12. I was like 16 then. But I remember that being the one I kissed boys and stuff. I don't think I was a virgin, but I wasn't like, you know. We don't have to use this part. But what you can cut, and then like come back right here. And so when I was 12, when I was 16, the D'Angelo video, you know, like that might have been my first experience with like lust.
My homeboy Ryan, because I was in college during that time. Oh, nigga alert. Like my homeboy Ryan, his girlfriend came into my room to watch the video because he forbade her from watching the video.
I'm sure guys were
in
not.
his room. He was like, "You want to watch that?
Yeah.
Go in Van room." And I was like, she came in, she's like, "Van, can we watch D'Angelo?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. I mean, I don't have any problem with it." And then they turned it on, and I saw what the video was doing to them.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yo, he got a point. Like, this is a little disrespectful."
I mean, you got a point. I thought you were gonna say, "You fool! You should let her watch this so she can get excited."
You should, but the reality is that maybe in that situation, well, it was his TV.
Okay.
So it is lit. So let's
Touché.
not.
That's fair.
It was his TV, so it is lit. But look, we were young. We were like what was that, like 99, 2000 or something like that?
So you were how old?
19 or 20.
You're old enough to be my father.
Yeah, I'm old, man. Chill, man. Chill with all that. So I need you to help me with something that I struggle with because as you get older, as I'm clearly getting, we all struggle to be better men and to be better allies to our female counterparts, especially our black female counterparts.
Thank you.
Define feminism for us and tell us specifically how feminism impacts or how a lack of female empowerment impacts the African American community.
Okay.
If you can.
If I can. Let me ask you something first. What, if I asked you to define feminism, what would you say?
If you ask me to define feminism, what I would say, and anyway, I'm not going to beat around it. I would say that feminism is the I guess, trying to reach a plateau in society where women are equally represented, where they are safe, where we have a system of justice that includes them and empowers them. That's the best answer I could give. And that's kind of a broad answer, but that's the best answer I could give.
That's a good answer.
Okay.
That's essentially it.
That's it.
That's pretty much it.
I got it.
That's it.
That's feminism.
That's feminism.
Why do you feel like so many men have a problem embracing that which doesn't seem in any way dangerous or marginalizing to men? Why do you feel like if that's the broad sweeping answer, why would there be any guy that would be against that?
Well, number one, there are not a lot of men. I should say there are a lot of men who can't do what you just did. You know what I mean? Like who, if you ask them what is feminism, they're either just going to stutter until you put them out of their misery and tell them never mind,
right?
Or they're going to say something that is just really offensive and more importantly, inaccurate. That is women who hate men or women who just want to do everything that a man does. They don't believe gender roles. Like there's just a lot of conjecture and stereotyping out there and just a lot of mythology.
Right.
And so I think until very recently, like I was saying earlier, I've been a feminist for a very long time. Like that shit was not cute to anybody in 2005. Right. Like I was an anomaly of sorts because I called myself that. Like there were women I knew whose behaviors in ways were very feminist or their views on the world, and men too, But like when terms like saying like, oh, I embrace this, like this is part of my identity, it was like, I don't know about all that, 'cause I love men.
Right.
And I remember, and I'm sure I probably did this when I was younger too, just hearing women say stuff like, I'm a feminist, but I love men.
Right.
Like not that they felt like they had to prove that they weren't gay, but that they were not man haters, right. And so a lot of people just think that that's a feminist. So that's number one. The other thing is men, and we're kind of speaking in broad sweeping terms,
sure.
Men are not socialized to listen to women. And really be interested in what we think and
that
feel.
That seems to be something that you hit on a lot.
Yeah, that because I think it's something that we can correct. You know what I mean? Like we certainly talk about white supremacy. We talk about the broader, idea of patriarchy, right? There's these global structures that crush us all in so many ways. But you can't say, okay, like, here's how we're going to end white supremacy. It's like, well, what's the little thing? What's the thing that I can knock down? So I think, in terms of our peer groups, if I do nothing else in my life, but just remind people around me to just, or who get to, or who come across the things I say online, to just think about women, right? Just think about us in a real meaningful way. So like include women, like I was doing the Listen to Black Women shirts. Everybody say, listen to Black women, trust Black women, believe Black women. That's not about saying, give us the burdens of the world because we're magic and we can fix them. Right. It's like, hear us, see us. Like so much of what's wrong with the world around us, which of course has ramifications on Black people of all gender expressions, is the inability to see and really affirm and give Black women what they need, right? To see us as vulnerable, to see us as disenfranchised, to see us as human, to see us as kind, to just see us, to see us hurting. I think very often about the fact that Serena Williams very easily could have died shortly after giving birth. Yeah. And would go on to say that the folks at the hospital did not recognize what was wrong with her. She did, and they didn't. So this is somebody who has access to the best health care in the world. Right. And if her insurance card wasn't there, there's her husband. Right. You know what I mean? There's no confusion about who this person is and what she has in her wallet. Right. I think about Erica Garner, who had a heart attack not long after the birth of her second child. I think about the fact, this is interesting, right before Erica died, there was a study that came out about Black maternal deaths, and maternal health outcomes. And so I'd known for years that, Black women in America had, maternal death rates and infant mortality rates that would, rival some of what we call third world countries. Yeah, you know what I mean? Nations or whatever, yeah. And so I knew that. I always just assumed that it was because of poverty, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like if we over-index in terms of numbers of poor women, people who don't have access to good hospitals and good doctors and all that stuff, and you have people who have to work, more than they should. So it could be. And a lot of them, heads of household, even during pregnancy. So it's like if I don't have health insurance, if I don't, have time because I have to work at, Subway in the morning, and then in the afternoon I'm at McDonald's, and then at night I put the kids to bed, and then I do a morning shift at the airport 3 times a week. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like, if you're working like that, it's a very good chance that you didn't have time, for adequate prenatal care, and then the study reveals that Black college-educated women are more likely to die in childbirth than white poor women. You can't class your way out of this. This is about, you are less likely to have those issues if you are upwardly mobile and have access to better doctors, but even better doctors might not believe that you're hurting. Right. They might not take your suffering or be able to recognize it, and there have been studies that have shown that about Black men and women, that people think we have higher pain thresholds, including people in the medical profession. So it's one thing for a bus driver to think, he hit his head, but I'm sure he's okay. And another for a nurse or a doctor, to not treat you in the same way they would somebody who is everything like you but white. So that for me is what feminism is about. And there's some of the nitpicking that happens from people who have for whatever reason they oppose feminism. They either don't understand it or they just really feel, and this is the other thing, man, in terms of why wouldn't men embrace this? There are men who will say, why would I want to give up power? Why would I want to give up privilege? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? At times they do want to give it up. You may hear some of these same guys saying that they don't want to actually participate in chivalry and they're happy to split a meal with you, right? But the things that they get that are good from patriarchy, they want to hold on to, as do women, right? The fact that so many of us, and I'll admit to being one of them, that typically in my relationships, there is a kind of traditional gender, role sort of thing, and not completely, you don't get to, I'm not submitting, right? Not in regular life, right. You know what I mean? Yeah. But
what does that mean? You're not submitting in regular life. Where do you submit? Right. What do you
like sex?
Oh, okay. Say it. We're on the red pill. You're not gonna make Maddie uncomfortable back there. Maddie has. Listen. Here's the thing about Maddie. Let me tell you something about Maddie. Maddie has a wife that he loves, but he sees Black women on the side.
Oh my God. What's wrong with you?
In his marriage,
what's wrong
with Maddie's marriage, they have a deal and an arrangement he is able.
Can you just not say things that are going to get people bothering me?
They do a paper bag test. Anyone darker than a paper bag, Maddie can cheat with them.
You are
That's what they do.
Horrible.
It's a paper bag test for Maddie. Maddie's wife lets him do it, man. Shout out to Maddie's wife, man. I love
Maddie's wife say you can't use this part.
Well, it's going in. So here's the deal. Just like Maddie goes in to all the sisters in Harlem. So here's the deal. Does the conversation of feminism, we'll come back to you submitting because you're not going to get off that, but does the conversation of feminism, in your opinion, need to take place more between women or between women and men?
Both and.
Which more? What do you think is more important?
That's I don't know if that's a good thing a worthy thing to compare in a way. But I'll say, it's kind of, I really couldn't tell you, because on one hand, it's like, all right, the one between, well, it can't just stop. It can't end with either group. You know what I mean? Like, so if it's in terms of priority, you can make a case for either, because you could say women have to talk to other women to get them ready to fight, when we're ready to really do this battle. So we got to have everybody in alignment. When you have women that are as anti-feminist as the people who actually benefit from patriarchy, and will be quick to attack us or distance themselves from us or whatever, then yeah, that's a conversation to be had. But in terms of talking to men, like, you have to remember that is, for women of all races, a matter of safety too, right? Like, feminism doesn't just, mean that you'll get paid more than I do, or that you're, that if you're in a relationship with somebody that you're expected to be a protector, provider, and she's expected to be a nurturer, you know what I mean, or to take care of you, and just kind of, the social expectations that might be slightly more modern, but just the idea that, like, someone has to hold you down, you know what I mean, like, you gotta take care of your man, like, some of that stuff that you just get for being a man under patriarchy, that we might not like it, we might not agree with it, or find it limiting, as should you all, honestly, but when you're talking about, like, domestic violence, we're talking about access to affordable, legal birth control options, including,
these are conversations that have to take place across the board, and especially to males that might have some power to change those things.
Yeah, and we have to, have that conversation with men constantly, but it's also important to think that, like, and this is what I do, right? This is what I do, like, as a writer and whatever work that I do. There are people who, are focused on like you said, the stakeholders, you know what I mean? And so, and how they engage members of Congress, how they engage, executives, how they engage artists. And I would certainly want to be resonant in those spaces. But my thing has really been like, hey, everyday man, something as small as you telling your homeboy, nah, don't call her a hoe because she had condoms in her purse.
Right.
She's trying to protect herself and you. You tripping. You should be nice to her.
Right.
Something maybe that's not the best, my man impression is
I'm like,
very,
this
I sound like
nigga's mad weak.
I sound like
you sound
Bill Bellamy and
yeah, what you doing? Like, what?
But you get the
I
idea,
I understand.
Right?
Like, you're saying that men holding other men accountable for things that hold women back, and I guess by proxy hold us all back.
Yeah, and also holding themselves accountable. You know what I mean? So even if you, and I wish that more men did, but like, even if you don't always have the courage to speak up to your homeboys, or, and I'm not even talking about putting yourself in the line of danger, what I mean, with strangers. I'm just talking about, like, talking to your roommate, your fraternity brother, your homeboy, your actual brother, about something in relation to women, like not letting the dude who doesn't take care of his kid come around. You know what I mean?
Wait.
Like,
so not letting the guy who doesn't take care of his kid come around. So what you're saying in that situation is, now, amongst in my family, situations like that are always frowned upon. Yeah. Just because that's how my dad is. But if I'm with my homeboys and my homeboy's not doing right by his girl or by his kid, it's one thing for me to say, yo, man, that's foul. It's another thing for me to get all up in his business and be like, yo, you can't come around until you
honestly don't think you have to. Again, it'd be great if you said that, and I understand why that's not always the wisest thing to do. But if it's a matter of, like, you close enough to this person and be like, yo, is it true? Because I've heard, is it true that you're not doing these things? Or if he's telling you, like,
where's that end though? Then do I check him if he's cheating on his girl?
Listen, can you just, you don't even know where it began because you interrupted me.
Okay, go for it. My bad. Sorry, okay. Black Queen,
Thank
Nubian
you.
sister.
God, like, you want to learn or do you not want to learn?
Of the Nile.
Thank you. Okay, you saying that because they say Nefertiti white now?
I don't even know any. I just know that, I don't know any of that stuff. Go ahead. Well, I'm sorry for interrupting.
Thank you. I accept your apology. But, it's simply like, I do. What?
Go ahead.
Why are you, like, polite shaming me now? I got manners, nigga. So, like, imagine that. Don't laugh. I said N-word. Now it's awkward.
See?
Oh,
I was Maddie that laughed. That was Maddie that laughed.
Oh, my God.
I'm telling you. Yeah.
I hope my parents don't hear this. Even though I guess that was the point, that I didn't want my parents to hear this, probably came a few minutes ago.
Yeah,
It wasn't
I would
exactly
imagine so.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so let's say this is somebody you're good friends with, right? That
Sure.
you feel like you can have some real talk with them. The same way if, you know, they had gotten into a fight at a party and you was like, yo, you've been drinking too much. This isn't the first time it's happened. You know what I mean? Like somebody
Yeah.
can say man to man, like, yo, you know, you really need to call Shorty up and make plans to see your kid. You know,
Right.
like, why are you not doing that? Like asking questions, not just like, you know, you do this, you do that, but like, you know, forcing him in the way that you communicate with this person to confront what he's doing wrong or what he's not doing. You know, and if somebody's not willing to adjust, and if you're watching this, if you're like, this is my homeboy, he's fun to be around, I care about him, but I know for a fact that he's spending money on bottle service and girls and going on dates and has a child he's not taking care of, or he's buying sneakers. You know what I'm saying? Like if you recognize that, and I'm not talking about some small stuff.
Yeah.
I don't mean like, oh, you're not texting your girl back, you need to give up. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's a debate that friends can have it if they so choose, or a discussion that if that's how you all communicate, then sure, you know. But I think in terms of like the thing that should feel like a responsibility is when somebody is really like performing like bad manhood or bad womanhood.
Right.
You know what I mean?
See,
The same way if one of my friends was not taking care of her child, you know, or was treating the parent, you know, her child's parent poorly, you know, for unjustified reasons. Like I'd say, look, this is what you're doing is not good. You're not acting in the best interest of your child. Like you know, having the courage to say things like that is important.
I think that's something that women do much better than men. I think that women, I'm just going to speak to the women that I've known in my life. They have a lot of very, very steep ups and downs with their friends.
That's true.
One day it's like, yo, this is my sister. I love her. Yo, we got the same blood, the same essence, the same spirit. The next day, fuck that bitch.
It happens.
I never want to see her again. I promise you, I'll never talk to her again. And then invariably they always start talking to her again. And I think a lot of times that happens because the one friend, or sometimes I've seen it, shall I say, one friend makes a decision in their personal life that somebody can't get with, and then now we're at odds. Amongst the fellas, one challenge about sort of this entire situation is we don't really, amongst, like, I would feel weird, even my closest friends, I would feel weird getting in their business to that degree. I would say if I saw something that was like overt, and this is not just in the specific situations that we talked about. When you talk about holding people accountable for things, if it doesn't really have a lot to do with you, a lot of times man rules and man codes dictate that you don't really talk to somebody else about what's going on in their household.
I'm gonna have to
their
breathe,
kids,
stretch, shake it out
or
for this
with their
response.
woman, or with their situation.
Wrap this up.
You hope that your boys are doing the best.
Got it.
And you
want me to tell you,
sometimes
Van,
program them,
Van,
but you don't chastise them because we some men.
Van, do you want me to tell you why?
Sure.
All those things will start at the beginning.
I'll tell you one reason why. I'll tell you one reason why.
Why?
One reason why is because shit can go left quick.
Oh,
and if it goes left between us, we have to do physical violence to one another.
I got you. Do you want to know why?
Give it to me, yeah.
Let's start with the women friends and the passion and the breakups and the fact that not most of us, but some of us, have these tumultuous relationships that are almost like our relationship, our romantic relationships, right? And there's also those that maybe the fighting is not that bad, but we bicker with our friends and fall out in ways that most of you all don't.
Right.
And we talk about it. You all fall out over something, and oftentimes you're either done or you just kind of move on. Let a little time pass, let it breathe, but you're not confrontational with one another. Whereas we're like, the reality shows are obviously an exaggeration, but the way they're always no. We needed to have a meeting. We needed to talk. And of course those are staged and between people who are oftentimes not really close friends. But in real life,
shout out to Shawnee and Evelyn who are on the podcast.
Shout out to Shawnee and Evelyn. Yo, Evelyn is hilarious.
You like her?
She is hilarious. There is a gem of a show waiting for her.
As a feminist, are you offended by Basketball Wives?
No.
Shawnee was saying that she gets a lot of hate from black women about what she does on Basketball Wives and about how Basketball Wives has impacted. Do you feel any of that? Do you think any of that is...
I want to put a pin in that. We'll get back to that.
Sure.
Because I want to get into my, to what I was saying. So we are trained. I think this is, women are socialized to look for soulmates, for this great love. And then we go out into the world and find that with you all, that's not, it's at times elusive. And I'm not talking about not having a man, because you might have a man, right? But like this passionate kind of, this pouring into you, this investment in your dreams and your hopes and your like, you know, knowing your mama's birthday and the last time you talked to your ex, and to take your phone from you, you know, once you've had too many shots of Patron, and you gonna text old boy that we said we wasn't talking to no more. Like the way that we wrap our arms around our friends' lives. And it happens with our platonic male friendships too, and certainly with our men. Right. But this is something that happens between girlfriends, you know, is very different than what you all do with one another. And I think part of that, no, because it's
like, because it's like that's too much. It's very hard to juggle all of that stuff.
Now, can it be? Yes, there's certainly time, you know, especially people who have big friend circles or who get really invested. And I have friends who are this way. I'm not this way. You know, I have a good number of close friends, and I have people that I'm all up and through their stuff. But for the most part, I'm not that to everyone. I feel you. You know what I mean? I'm just not, because I don't want to. My limitations are such that I'm not built, like I don't have like a number one best friend, you know what I mean? Like I just kind of, that's just how I function in friendships. You know, some people are, partially because I am kind of in my offline life kind of non-confrontational. You know, I don't want to do a lot of bickering and trying to adjust around people's stuff. But it's good though. You know what I mean? Like minus the fighting, it's like that's love. Like that's passion. You know, we're passionate about our girlfriends. And I'm glad, because honestly, a lot of sisters, and this is something I spent a lot of time thinking about and was very intentional about not repeating for my own life, but there are a lot of women who don't really know the touch of, I don't want to just say a man, because there are certainly some that are, you know, interested in women and sometimes maybe don't feel comfortable being out with that. Of course, that's not something that's just gone away, you know, because things are more progressive. But there's certainly a lot of women who are interested in men or who date men who will go long stretches of time without having a meaningful relationship, without having a physical relationship with someone, you know? And so it's kind of like, so this love that's, you know, we're trained to have, where does it go? You know, it goes to children if you have them. Hopefully it goes to them, and it may go to other members of your family, you know, cousins. We treat cousins like they're our identical twins, you know, and it goes to your friends. So that's not a bad thing. You know, I think it's something that you all could really stand to learn from, you know. And again, part of it is us wanting it from you all and not finding you all capable at times. You know, it's like, who's going to make me feel good? Who's going to care about me? Who's going to treat me as more than an afterthought or something I can get to when I feel like it? You know, and a lot of women function in relationships like that are actual. I'm not talking about just like, yeah, we kicking it, so, you know, sometimes he's available, sometimes he's not, right? I'm talking about like actually having men who are like your husband or your boyfriend, you know, that are detached from you. And they may in their hearts feel like they love you to the moon and back, you know, but you all are not socialized to be vulnerable, you know, as you should be, as honest and forthcoming with your feelings. Which hurts to everybody, you know, and in the small ways to, why didn't he tell me he didn't like me? He's just wasting my time, to, I told him no, I didn't want his number, and he shoots me. You know what I'm saying? Because he has no ability to cope with rejection, you know, and he's probably dealing with something before he gets to that moment, you know, whether it relates to women or not, that could have been healed, you know, or addressed before he got to that moment if we taught our men and boys to talk to us about their feelings, you know, not to keep them bottled up. That being a man and having a stiff upper lip, you know, is not always the right approach, you know. And so the idea that, like, I can't say these things to my friend, you know, like not just a dude I know, not my barber, but like my man's, you know, somebody who would see you cry if something happens to your mother, you know what I mean, who would be there by your side if you got jumped by some dudes or something in a bar. You know what I mean? Now he's ready to stand up for you and vice versa. But you're saying that, like, this person who you care about.
I'm saying I don't want him in my business, so I stay out of his.
But I'm just saying, like, if you're saying
stay that in your own household, nigga,
care about somebody but could not care about their child as an extension of them enough to say, like, dude, you're messing up. It don't have to be this way. We see men like this all the time. You're trying to be like those guys. And Van, like, if you're not, it's the point I was trying to get to earlier, is like, if you're not willing or ready or able to have that conversation, like, look, if I invite 10 people over to my house every time, you know, the Knicks play, and you're that guy, it's about to be 9 people over my house. Maybe we don't talk about it, but you're not just going to be sitting in my house.
You'll talk about it, because niggas going to be like, yo, I'm going to be real with you, man. Porzingis is a beast. He went for like 40 and 15. We was over at Vran crib. You know, he had made those little, he takes like pita pockets and he takes ground turkey, puts them in the middle, and then he melts cheese over the top of them, puts them with some good old baked waffle crisp, put them in the oven, and by the time the waffle crisp came out, Porzingis had scored like 15 more points. Porzingis is crazy. And then Ronnie going to be like, yo, what the hell's going on, man? I wasn't at the crib when Porzingis was going crazy. Like, y'all niggas was just chilling. I had to watch the game at my house. What's going on? Now, guess what happens? Me and Ronnie got to have a conversation, and I got to say, yo, I don't appreciate the way you're treating your kid, so I didn't invite you over to my house. They're going to say, get some business. Now, here's the deal. I'm not saying that you're not afraid, that you're afraid to talk to your boy. You don't want to broach it. What I'm saying is, between men, a lot of times, at least in my friendships, don't tell me about what's going on in my household. This I got from my father. My father, God bless him, imperfect man with a perfect resolve. Imperfect man, perfect resolve. Backbone, straight. I raise my sons. I raise my family. Keep your opinions about my family in your household. Keep them over there. I'm going to do my best over here. And I think a lot of the guys that I know, especially Southern men, that's where we've come from. You think that it takes a village to raise the kids in your house. You're looking at me. You disapprove of me so much right now. I feel so small. I feel so small with the way that you're leering at me because you think that's all bullshit, macho bullshit, I'm assuming. Yes, it's macho bullshit. I'll move on to another question I want to ask you.
We used to be slaves. Don't talk about what we used to do.
Oh, it's true. All right, I got you. Listen, I want to ask you more. I want to ask you some more stuff that just questions that I have to women. Do women need more hobbies?
What?
This is a point. This is a big point of contention that I have. Okay. So on any
because we don't play Xbox. Oh,
in any Xbox is a good example.
Yeah.
In any given day, I have a bunch of different things that might keep me occupied. So then I'm not dwelling on something that somebody else is doing. These are. Wait, these are.
You are an asshole.
Wait.
I swear to God.
Wait, what I'm saying is, I like to play basketball.
Oh my God.
I like to box.
Are you kidding me?
I like to play pool. I like to do all of these
your
things.
Your deadbeat dad homeboy's son is going to rob you one day.
And any of these
and
things.
He's going to say, all you had to do was tell that nigga to call me.
Of these things.
And we might not be here today.
Any of these things that I do.
Are you kidding me?
They keep me from
What's
doing
wrong with
other
you?
stuff, right? So I feel like, what if women had more hobbies that they could do? Wouldn't that? Well, I'm asking a question.
You are a fucking clown.
I'm asking, what if women had more hobbies that they could do? And in doing these hobbies, because this is the big deal, in doing these hobbies, maybe they were more investing into themselves.
Can I tell you something, Van?
What if while we were playing Xbox, y'all were doing I don't know what kind of stuff y'all like to do. Y'all were doing some fly shit together that you like to do. Or maybe, I'm just saying, like, don't you think that would be dope? If I knew that I could play Xbox, or if I knew I could play basketball because you were doing something.
You know what would be dope? If you all, instead of using Xbox and basketball and infidelity and overeating and all these other things as your therapist chair, if while you all were so busy not talking about your feelings, not going to the doctor, not talking to your friends and calling them on their bullshit, not being honest with the women in your life, not being honest with yourselves, maybe your life expectancies would be a little bit longer.
Or maybe if y'all stop stressing us out about playing Xbox, our life expectancies would be longer because we wouldn't have high blood pressure over different things.
I'm not even going to engage there. You are an actual troll.
I'm not trolling you. No, I'm not trolling you.
That was a troll.
That was a troll.
That was a troll.
That was a troll. I am saying seriously though that
well,
do you feel like this? The larger question is, do women invest enough into themselves? Because you're talking about women investing into their friends, investing into their men, investing into their children. Do women invest enough into themselves?
Well, I mean, that's subjective. There are women that are completely selfish and everything is for them, about them, and centers them, whether they have 5 kids, 2 husbands, whatever, right? There's people who, go into the grave not taking care of themselves at all because they were caring for the elders in their family and their man and their children.
Love you, mama and grandma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the thing is...
And my sister.
And I talk about this is the same thing I was talking about earlier. Like, the stuff I want to do is just to if I can get 2, 3 people think about their lives differently and the choices that they make. That's something I've been very deliberate about, and I still struggle. I'm a single parent and a great co-parenting relationship, right? Like, my daughter spends, not quite equal, but closer to it than most families you'll know.
Word.
Time between dad's house and mom's house. Everybody gets along. Everybody's good. I have a great job. I'm also a public speaker, and I'm working on some freelance stuff, right? I date. I travel for work and for leisure. I am constantly busy, and I have people in my life who need me, who may need me financially, who need me emotionally, outside of my daughter and my parents and my siblings, people who I care about, and I give a lot. I give almost all that I can. I've been able to capture a little bit for myself, just a little bit. Right. That's a deliberate decision. Right. There have been times where I love my mother. She was also a single parent, self-sacrifice. Please don't listen, Mommy. Turn it off right here if you made the mistake to push play on this. But, did not have a significant relationship that I was aware of, when she and my father weren't dealing with each other, which stopped when I was very, very young. Like, everything was about me. Not her career, not her friendships, not her love life, not herself, but me. And, it's painful for me to, and she says, I made my choice. I don't apologize for it. I don't regret it. That's how I wanted to do things. There was a reason for that. And I thank her, for all that she sacrificed and the things that I've been able to do as a result of it. And I love my father very much. We are very close, but he did not pour into me that way. He didn't. Few fathers do, whether you're married or co-parenting or whatever. It's just
different dynamic.
It's a very different dynamic, and it's crazy. But like, I wonder if my mother hadn't been single, had she been married to my dad or someone else, would that have just meant that she was pouring into this person too? You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't necessarily guarantee that I would have hoped that she'd find someone, or I still do, who gives and gets, and that there's some kind of equal, some parity there. But that's just one thing, long before I had a child, I should say, I established for myself, was that no matter who's in my life, I will love and give and care and nurture, because I am a nurturer and I am a lover, and I am warm and I like to take care of people, but I have to at least try to take care of myself too.
Right.
Like, I could not, I was not someone who wasn't interested in men anymore because I was a parent. I wasn't somebody who didn't have, big, huge professional ambitions because I was a parent, and my mom's even kind of, been times where she's called and like, hey, where's the baby? I'm like, well, she's not here. Oh. Or she'll call me, where are you? Oh, I'm in LA, I'm in Atlanta. And
where your daughter at?
Yeah, and I always say, I said, Mom, there's 98% of the time, there are 3 answers to that question. With Mom, with Dad, at school. You know what I mean? We don't use babysitters, very, 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 very rarely.
Would you let a white person babysit your kid?
I would. I have white relatives. God, you're an awful person.
Would you let a white? I wouldn't do it.
Why not?
I just don't think that's, I don't know.
I'm not letting anybody watch my kid that I don't know very well.
I don't want my kids drinking whole milk.
We actually do whole milk.
You sometimes. Drink whole milk?
I don't drink milk. I cook with it. I don't
what percentage white are you?
I don't drink milk.
Like what?
That's irrelevant.
That
Objection
matters.
Irrelevant.
That matters if you're drinking whole milk.
I don't drink milk though. Milk is an accessory. I don't drink it.
What time would you say that you drink your first glass of whole milk when you wake up in the morning? Do you go immediately? Do you drink one before you go to sleep? You're a whole milk drinker.
I hate you. I don't drink milk. Who drinks milk?
You
That's
just
disgusting.
said you're a milk person a second ago. Milk is disgusting, especially the blacker you are.
I don't drink it.
What do you cook with it? What do you cook with whole milk?
Macaroni and cheese.
Out the box, huh?
Cereal.
Out the box.
Very rarely.
See? White.
Very rarely.
I'm getting to the center. I'm getting to the core and the center of it.
I'm going to tell you, when I was pregnant, I hadn't had Kraft macaroni and cheese since I was a kid. And I had the blue box of blues. That shit was I didn't know I'd remember what it tasted like.
Blue box blues over here.
And I hadn't eaten chicken.
Drinking whole milk.
But hold on. And I went like 10 years without eating chicken. And when I was pregnant, that little girl was like, you know what I like? Chicken.
See? Chicken.
Like chicken.
I tell you straight up, I don't want my kids coming back talking about they want to watch like American Idol. Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude, like you have like a white babysitter. Like, I don't want them coming back talking about like different stuff like that. Like, it's weird. It's like I fuck with, shout out to Maddie and Jason, my white people over here. Fuck with y'all heavy. Whatever. What are white people into?
I was thinking
I don't know what white people are into. That's true. What are white people? What?
Both things are true.
What?
True crime documentaries.
Oh, all of that, because y'all star in those as well. Y'all the stars of all the true crime documentaries. So y'all want to watch those. I don't want my kids you never know what white babysitters are going to do. Anyway, I have something else to talk to you about. Okay. So for you guys who don't know, Jamilah is one of the leaders of Timbuktu Twitter. Timbuktu Twitter is the faction of Twitter that seeks to call people out for shit that they've done wrong and then use a buzzword, which I like to call canceling people.
Hold on, Joe.
They love to get people and get them and retweet shit and put shit out there that makes it hard for people once they fucked up in the social media sphere. The latest person who they tried to cancel, shout out to this guy, is my dude, Killer Mike.
I hate you.
Who made a mistake, I would say, went on to the NRA's platform. His heart was in the right place. He wanted to talk about black gun ownership, something that he's been talking about for a long time. Me and Mike have discussed this. He knows how me and some other people feel about this. But he went on the NRA's platform.
Charlemagne.
Whatever. He went on the
That's my best friend.
Yeah, he went on the NRA's platform and he discussed this. Yes. And the NRA very predictably used it to discredit the March for Our Lives. How have you guys been successful in canceling Killer Mike, someone who's been working tirelessly on behalf of black people as long as I've known what he's done? How is canceling Killer Mike coming? And after you guys have canceled him, who are you moving on to next to cancel? Because that's what y'all like to do on Twitter. Who have you been canceling lately, Jamilah?
If you existed, I'd cancel you.
Seriously, you know this phenomenon about canceling people.
Thank you.
Sure.
What was my tweet about Killer Mike? Do you remember it?
I saw you retweeting people that I can't remember. I saw you retweeting people that were against him. That's what I saw.
Did I?
Yeah, you did. Big time.
You
and Sean King. I'm not looking at you. You're like you and Sean King.
Hold on. Let me
tried to get on
because I don't
Mike.
actually remember. So first of all, I am so much more than you know, or rather, so much more than you pretending to know right now in front of people. But I was not in that conversation. I'm looking now. I'm like, hold on. I don't remember even. I noticed it. I ain't said not one damn thing about Killer Mike. I can't stand you. I didn't retweet anybody.
You did. I have it right here. Tweets and replies. If you weren't able, that's not it. Hold on. I'm telling you.
Can you read?
I'm reading, but I saw them earlier. I should have.
No, you didn't.
I saw them earlier. You were retweeting things about people that were mad at Killer Mike.
No.
5 hours ago. Damn, you tweet so much, man.
I don't.
You need some hobbies.
I don't. Are you kidding me? My last tweet was how long ago?
All right, let's see. I see you trying to cancel the New York cab drivers.
I tweeted 3 hours ago.
Let's see here.
And
man, I'm telling you. Listen, we're gonna. Oh, here it is. Oh wait.
What What's wrong? Let me see it.
Wait, I gotta find
What's
it.
wrong? Because you're not gonna find it because
saw
it
you-
doesn't exist, you jackass. What's
I
wrong
saw
with
you tweeting about.
No, you didn't.
I did, man.
This is what you like.
I'm
You like
telling
writing
you.
fanfic about me to my face
I'm
right
saying,
now.
like,
You just assumed.
I'm saying.
What
I'm
does
telling you, I saw
assume
you-
mean, Van?
I saw you.
You make an ass out of you.
Oh, here it is. Look. Just to be, wait. You just retweeted this. We tweeted this a little while ago. Just to be clear, Killer Mike is the reason all of those people cling so desperately to their assault rifles in the first place. A 6-foot tall, 300-pound black man
that
is
was a good
precisely
tweet.
the driving force behind white anxiety. His very existence
That was
is
a good
irrational. Is every irrational fear made manifest, but okay. Oh, to Killer Mike. You don't need an AR-15. As a black man and fellow gun owner, I would like to have. That's Vic Mensa. Shout out to Vic
Those
Mensa.
were good. Oh, hold on.
Shout out to Vic Mensa, who joined part of the cancel Killer Mike rhetoric.
Stop it. Shout out to Vic Mensa. But you about to cancel me.
I wasn't gonna say cancel you.
I didn't say a word.
I'm not actually into canceling people.
I'm not either. So I know you're being hyperbolic and silly, but I'm very much against the canceling thing. In fact, that's probably been one of the things that gets me in the most trouble in Twitter is that I'm like, let's try and talk things out. Mm-hmm. Let's designate who's capable of doing it, like who will and who won't, and who shouldn't have to.
Why is this a thing, though? Why are we so, as people, not just Black Twitter, more specifically in Black Twitter, I will say, though, why are we so anxious to cancel people if they do one thing that we don't agree with, especially someone with the resume of a Killer Mike who's been living this for a long time?
So, but hold on. So, multiple realities are true. So, that's everything that's wrong with us as a people, as a generation. Well, you know, in my generation, also your generation, like, is because of our inability to walk and chew gum at once, or to see that something can be both and.
Right.
You know, so like I am.
But
not,
we run and dribble the basketball at once.
I'm not a fan of the cancel culture thing, right? Like it started early on when people were saying, and when people were using it against folks like me. Like I remember, I think it was who did? Was it the Atlantic that did Twitter's toxic feminism wars or whatever? And basically, it was calling out. They didn't mention me, but they were talking about this kind of crew of women writers that I just kind of, this kind of moment in feminism writing. They were talking about the black girl feminists on Twitter that were being mean to the white girl feminists, basically. Yeah. And the way that they were using the phrase cancel culture was just kind of like, you know, girls just need to get along. Everybody's trying to be a feminist, but if you're trying to challenge other feminists, then, you know, you're just going to cancel everybody. But it was like, no, you're just kind of trying to tell us to not care too much about racism because that's inconvenient for you, you know, or to remind you all about classism or about people of different gender expressions. Like the people that don't fit into this kind of middle class, white, you know, kind of, it's very lame entry level feminism that doesn't really include anyone but them.
Levels of feminism is what you're saying.
For lack of a better word, sure. So anyway, so Killer Mike, I'll say this. I retweeted those two things because I thought they were true. Mm-hmm. You know, and I think that's a really important thing. So like when something like that happens, there are a lot of people who don't. So the danger of Killer Mike sitting down with the NRA is not just the hurt and the pain that would cause to a Parkland student who comes across that, right? And it's not just the absurdity of what the NRA believes that certain people in this country should have, right?
On the same page.
It's not just the fact that these people said nothing about Philando Castile. They've had multiple.
Podcast,
I know they've had multiple opportunities, you know, to stand up for black gun owners, if only as a strategy to make themselves sound less racist.
That
and
is
they
the thing that really pushes me. Yeah,
because they don't give a fuck and they don't have to.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just like when the president doesn't offer condolences, you know, in the way that he would if somebody was killed by a Muslim or a person of color, you know, or when, and people say, well, why doesn't he? Because he doesn't have to. Right. So let's stop asking him to pretend to be something that he's not. I don't want the NRA to pretend to be something that they're not. So I'm glad that they're unwilling to waver on their stance. So they're anti-blackness. I don't want them to seduce us. You know what I mean? And that's not me opposing guns, right? Like I'm in the middle. Like I think I understand the need for people to have some guns, and I wish that there wasn't. You know what I mean? Like, I would give up the right to have them all together if it meant they didn't exist. But there is this part of me that's like, well, in the meantime, in between time, I gotta be able to protect my family.
Okay, strapped up and violent, New York style, my nigga.
So but there's no room for an NRA in my world.
Word.
Like you don't defend anything that I represent as good. So with that, Killer Mike's not a young dude, you know, and this isn't, and some of the things that he said wasn't just the NRA interview. You know, it was some of the things that he said that were offensive or just inaccurate and weird. And this isn't the first time. So look, I admire Killer Mike for his activist work. I do. I admire, you know, what he wants for his community. I respect that.
What he's working towards for his community.
What he is working towards for his community in certain ways. But there are some things that are off. You know what I mean? Like there were
who has
no one is perfect.
Which one of us has everything on?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you didn't even let me finish, man.
Sorry.
Why do you keep doing this to me?
Because I'm a black man. I got hobbies. One of my hobbies is
interrupting women.
Yeah.
Specifically black women. You don't talk. you know you don't cut off black women because you know you not talk to black women often enough. Let alone at length. Nobody's getting cut off if it's your change will be 361 pull ups to second window.
Chill out.
You're such a I was thinking McDonald's too. You would have thought Popeyes first. So with that, you can say, yeah, these are great. You've done some great stuff. You've said some great stuff. Your heart is in the right place. There are some things that you don't know. There are some things that you are wrong about. And at times, this is the difference between cancellation versus, you know, let's just engage in correction, right? There are times where the things that you're wrong about are dangerous. What you don't know or what you think you know or what you're saying that isn't true can get people killed, you know, can hurt people from them having to sit and listen to it, you know? And so with that, I don't necessarily, you know, depending on the infraction, I'm not saying that the first offense is like, you out, you got to go, you're done. You know, and for me, it's like somebody who will not have to be traumatized or harmed or, you know what I'm saying, attacked for doing it needs to be able to correct you. Somebody needs to be like, look, so this is what you don't know about gender. You know, this is what you don't know about guns. This is what you clearly don't know about the NRA. This is what you don't know about Black Panther because you said everybody in Wakanda had guns.
No
That's
one
like
had guns.
Actually one of the most famous quotes in the movie was guns.
Guns
How
so primitive,
you know? So anyway, with that, so for me, I saw it and I shook my head and I did retweet those two things. You know, I thought, yeah, it's very important that people think about this. Like the irony, that's what's important about these Parkland kids and these Black children, these Latino children from other areas, like to really continuing to build that coalition. You know, and I really hope that the children from Parkland come to, you know, if they don't already, understand, they're very smart kids, you know, that the guns that kids like them get killed with are placed in, our people want this access to it so they can protect them from niggers.
Right.
You know what I mean? So just the irony, like that, like the guy who, the anti, you know, the man who wanted to kill Jewish people at a JCC and ends up hitting some, you know, Christians. Yeah. You know, the guy who kills that young white woman at the Charlottesville rally, right? Yeah. So he's a white supremacist. What's at the core of white supremacy? The idea of protecting white womanhood, you know, from men of color, right? And the virtues of the purity of the race. You killed a white woman. All those Black people out there, you killed a white girl, right? You know, and so with that, I think it's important that we are able to hold people accountable. I don't believe in disposing people. I think you have to do a lot to be disposed of. You know, for me,
who does need to be canceled?
Omarosa.
Omarosa needs to be canceled.
She's gone. Yeah.
She's out.
She's out.
There's no redemption for Omarosa.
No.
She's done.
No.
Who else? R. Kelly?
Been done. Next.
Out of here?
Like irredeemable.
Irredeemable.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this.
All right, we're not going to talk about R. Kelly because I know you hate him.
No.
But you're out of here. But Omarosa needs to be canceled. R. Kelly needs to be canceled. And you and the rest of Timbuktu cancel Twitter will decide.
When did you start calling it Timbuktu? You came up there right in the 3 minutes before I got here.
Wrong.
In the bathroom.
Wrong. But the reason why I call it that.
When did you call it Timbuktu?
This is the reason why I call it that. Because there was, at Southern University, where I went to school, there were two types of people. There were people that were into, there were people that were into actually figuring out the best solutions for communities that are actually failing. And it was niggas that would just say, all we need to do to survive is to get back to Africa. If we could get back to Africa, man, if we could get back to Africa in our clothing, Africa in our diet, Africa in our dance and our music and our culture.
I am?
No, I'm saying that extreme belief
That's not extreme at all, because there is no ideology. You're just talking about somebody in a costume.
No. What I'm saying is
I don't know why you're talking about them in relation to me.
What I'm saying is the people who have no flex, who won't work.
You're going to go back and listen to this and feel bad about yourself.
First of all, I'm not saying that you're Timbuktu. I really don't think that you are. But I think that people think that you are. And I think that that's untrue. And that's the reason why I brought it up.
I think that people think that you are.
I think that people think that you are. I think that people think that you are one of the people that
I've never heard.
Okay, so I mean,
I've heard a lot of awful things about myself, but like the idea
awful.
that I'm just like put on a dashiki and go back to Africa, everything's gonna be okay.
Not necessarily
click your heels
that.
3 times
but,
and say,
but not necessarily that. But I do think that like you tweet like one time French Montana said something negative about black ladies or something like that. Do you remember?
Yeah.
And people were saying that French Montana wasn't black. I understood French Montana to be from Morocco.
Yeah.
And maybe in my remedial mind, not understanding whatever, I said, yo, French Montana is North African.
Right.
I view North Africans as black people.
Right.
And by the way, that's not a controversial topic where I'm from.
Right.
Like, where I'm not saying that Africa is one country. I'm not saying that Africa is one identity. I understand that there are many different ethnicities, many different countries, many different colors even inside of Africa. Mm-hmm. So I said that. Yeah. I said, yo, French Montana's black to me because he's from Africa. Because remember now, I was also taught to worship the Egyptians for what they did. And all those people are North Africans. Those aren't sub-Saharan Africans. They're different. I got destroyed by Timbuktu cancel culture. I got destroyed by saying, you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh,
you don't know this. You don't know that. Some dude that.
Can I help you?
Like, and I'm like, yo, man.
Van.
And I think that's before we even knew each other.
Van, hold on.
You might have jumped in on me too with the French Montana thing.
If I'm not mistaken, it might have happened. Why don't you look it up? I feel remember. Like it happened. Search your name in French. You don't know how to search Twitter for things?
No, I really don't. Let me see. Van Lathan, French Montana.
That's it. I think it happened shortly after I met you, because I feel like I might have felt bad for you. Mm-hmm. Because I remember it happening. I don't think I actually said much about it. I might have. I don't know. Stuff like this happens so much. But I'm going to... I mean, it does.
I cancel so many people.
I don't cancel nobody. And I very rare... Like, I don't jump into every fray. Like, if you look through most of the big, like, everybody's angry moments, as of late, I'm not there. Mm-hmm. You know? But you are such a delicate snowflake.
Wow.
And you are so tender. And I think it's disarming, and wow. You know, I wouldn't have expected that of you. And so I think that, I find it endearing. It's you know, like I don't know. You know,
I was just wondering why.
I'm going to tell you why I'm saying that, because if you could not take the vitriol that I get online.
You don't think so?
Listen,
guys,
hold on.
Have you guys seen the contact emails about Van Lathan?
Hold on.
I got some on my desk.
Hold on.
Van Lathan, your mother, the nigger whore.
I know. Oh, I know. But that kind of stuff, it's different, because these are people that are writing to the TMZ email. Yes, I'm sure some of them tweet you, right?
Yeah.
Many of them do, right? But the volume of the stuff that you're getting on Twitter like that, it is not comparable to what I get to a lot of women I know on Twitter. On Twitter, no. Yeah. And so when it's somebody sending an email or even writing a letter here or a comment on YouTube or on the TMZ page, it's very easy to like disassociate yourself from that, because they're on somebody else's platform talking around you. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this guy Van, even in a letter, it's like, yeah, that's really aggressive. That's crazy. You took the time to do it. And I've gotten plenty of them, and not nearly as many as you, I'm sure, you know, because I'm not on TV every day. But it's still like, okay, they're not really talking to you. You know what I mean? Like, when people show up in my like little Twitter replies, or make videos about me, or do, you know what I'm saying, write blog posts about me. And I'm not saying it happens like all the time. Well, the Twitter thing happens all the time, but the other stuff happens a little bit more rare, but far more frequent than it should be, because it's insane to do those things. But like, I don't think that you could. I think you like that moment is. I've been canceled worse than that. Like, I've had my, you know, I've had
cancel you.
Everybody gets canceled.
How can you cancel
everybody
the canceler?
Because I'm not the canceler, you jerk. That's why. But I'm saying that like that stands out for you. I remember it, and it's like I feel like I've probably seen people talk to you worse than that. But that moment for you is like Oh man, because you felt misunderstood. You were like, I just
because my point was that we all black,
I'm just
man.
trying to do the right thing,
You
and
know
I'm
what?
hurt. And I'm like, yeah. So imagine if that was your whole identity. You were a feminist for 2 minutes,
Right.
and you still talking about it like 9 months later. You're so delicate.
I was trying to.
You're like a crepe paper.
Let me ask you. Okay, I got a couple more questions for you. One is very important. As a feminist, what do you think of Amber Rose's brand of feminism?
I like Amber Rose. I like her a lot. You know, I mean, she became a feminist as a full-grown woman. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I became one at 12, so I've had a lot longer to like work things out. You know what I mean? So like to embrace something that's already controversial while you're in the public eye, you know, I felt bad for her at times. You know what I'm saying? Like she said things I didn't agree with. You know what I mean? But as has Bell Hooks. Right. You know what I'm saying? As has
really Bell Hooks has said
Bell
things
Hooks
that you
says
don't.
Things I
wow.
You know, so like as any human being that I respect and admire.
Bell Hooks don't like Beyonce.
So anyway,
that's tough.
It's
tough to be on that hill alone, Bell Hooks.
You know who I don't like?
Who?
You.
I'm saying Bell Hooks don't like Beyonce. Bell like it's tough to be anyway. But you were saying
so yeah, like to be trying to sort these things out and really kind of understand them in front of the public eye. You know, if you stumble, if you make a mistake, which we all do early in that process. So much of what I think is wrong when you talk about the cancel culture, those are people who just got their line jacket. They just crossed. They brand new. Mm-hmm. They're so excited to prove how woke
the
they are.
Yeah.
They're so excited to prove how woke they are, how much they know. You know, that it's like a spectator kind of, you know, it's like, look at me, look what I can do. Something I think I've said this to you before, this organizer by the name of Loretta Ross said at a conference I attended, and it stuck with me. She said, am I calling you out to prove how woke I am, you know, to demonstrate that? Or am I calling you in because I think you're vital to the movement, you know? And so it's like,
but that's what we should be doing.
Exactly. That's it. That's what she's saying. She's like, am I calling you out to show you, which I'm guilty of that. I'm guilty of that sometimes. I'm not going to lie. You know what I mean? I try not to do it in like a hurtful way or anything, but like times where I could just look at it. Somebody said something silly on Twitter, and maybe it is connected to race or gender or sexuality, right? These things I'm really passionate about. And I retweeted with something sassy, and I could have just let it ride. You know, and more often than not, I do. I'm at the point in my life now where it's like, why? You know, okay, you disagree with them, cool. You know, if it's something that I feel like, okay, people really need to know that this is not okay, and I'm not punching down. You know, it's not me trying to get everybody mad at someone who has, you know, 5,000 followers or something. You know, it's like, no, like you're advocating for some stuff that's really bad, you know, or you're saying something that's really hurtful or harmful, you know, to black women, to black men, to black people, to, you know what I'm saying, like to mothers, to any demographic of people. You know, I try to punch up at, even if maybe I'm better known on Twitter than that person. Like if you're protecting patriarchy or sexism or racism or homophobia, you know what I mean? It doesn't quite feel like punching up in the same way, right? Or punching down, you know, because maybe more people are going to tweet you like, yeah, you know, and you're wrong. And there are times where I feel bad. Like, no, I don't want everybody yelling at this black girl because she said something I don't like. Like, I'm not going to do that. But yeah, for me, it's like, so with the Killer Mike, that's when he stumbles like that, someone has to call him in, you know, and that's what Vic Mensa was intending to do, right? Like that's how he addressed, even though Killer Mike old enough to be Vic Mensa dad, you know, I'm not exaggerating.
Sure.
But the way he said it was like man to man, artist to artist, you know, gun lover to gun lover, bro. You know what I'm saying? He did it publicly.
Yeah.
You know, he did it publicly, but he still did it respectfully. You know, so I don't think, and I do a lot of stuff privately. You know what I mean? I look at if I'm in.
She does a lot of stuff.
If I have access to someone and they've said something, you know, that is offensive or hurtful, and I think they don't really understand it, you know, what they said or did, I'm gonna reach out to you.
You actually did that to me one time. Like I made a joke about R. Kelly, and you
only once. I feel like I did it a couple times. I was like,
you hit me up and you was like, Van, delete that.
Yeah.
And I deleted it because I don't want to get canceled.
Because I do think, you know, I'm letting you off the hook on a lot of stuff on here, but like I really do think you are somebody who wants to be saying and doing the right thing. You know what I mean? Like who does believe in the idea of us as a people getting better, doing better, getting along. You know what I mean? So
I just want everyone to be able to live their full life, which brings me to my next problem. I want to talk about twerk videos.
Okay.
I want to talk about twerk videos because in many ways, to me, the twerk video has become more go-to masturbation tool than porn has ever been. What about watching a woman shake her ass do you think is so appealing to men? And secondly, is there a female equivalent to the twerk video? Is there something that you, when you put aside your hate for men, is there something that you
I only hate you
like to watch men do that moves us as much as a good twerk video? First of all, do you like twerk videos? Does Jamilah Lemieux like twerk videos? Talk about it.
Not really. I'm going to tell you
What?
because I'm jealous.
You're
I
jealous.
like them in theory. Like, I see them sometimes, I'm like, wow, I get lost in them. But then I'm like, why don't I have a big booty like that? Or why can't I shake?
You know,
like,
you can have one. You can have one if you like.
I need to. Can y'all hire me over here so I can get some of them endorsements?
I'm telling you,
Dr.
get that-
Miami tag. Listen, ain't said nothing but a word. But but I can't help but to look at it like, damn, I wish I had that body, and I wish I could move it like that. You know,
Right.
it can do some stuff, but it can't do that stuff. You know, and it's like there's a hand-eye coordinator. I've watched. I've tried my best. I've tried I can do enough, but it wouldn't be in nobody's
Do you know
video.
who the greatest twerker in the world is?
Miss Harkson.
Oh, Miss Twerksome.
Yeah,
Maddie, do you know who Miss Twerksome is?
she's
You
famous.
have no clue who she was? So, Maddie, here's the thing. Miss Twerksome.
It's like the Hillary Clinton of twerking.
So she's like the Hillary Clinton of twerking. She's the Hillary Clinton of twerking.
You see, I ain't say Madam C.J. Walker. I wasn't going to disrespect
Right,
no
not
black
gonna
woman like
disrespect no
that.
black ladies. You're not gonna say she's the Maya Angelou
Right.
of twerking.
Nope.
She's the Hillary
Hillary
Clinton.
Clinton.
She signed some crime bills back in the day. But so
She's an amazing twerker. I mean,
so here's the
it's
deal.
an art. It's
She's
an
25 years old.
art. Is she that young? God.
She's 25 years old. Because here's the problem. Here's the problematic part.
Oh,
of
you're
the
a creep.
twerk.
Still not to be your.
Wait. Here's the
Because they're
problematic
like
part of the twerk
39
team.
years old.
Miss Twerksome is the leader of the twerk team. And so people know the twerk team.
Damn, but
And
they've been around since I was in college. So she
You know
was
what?
a teenager when she started that.
She was young,
Yeah.
dog. That's the
No.
problem. And I think a lot of people didn't know about the online twerkings when they started twerking. They were like
Yeah.
16, 17. I didn't watch those videos. I never saw them. But like when as soon as she became 18, started watching the videos. She has.
I bet you $300 if I go through your phone
Nah.
history right now. I will find
has progressed-
a pre-2017.
Never. Like, she has progressed to Uber level twerking, and she's taking it to the next level. White guys, do y'all know who Miss Twerksome is? Do y'all know the twerk team? You never heard of them?
It's fine. Don't do that. That's cool.
Is Ghetto Barbie in that? Ghetto Barbie is a very, very high profile twerker.
Yeah.
Different weight class than Miss Twerksome. Different weight class. It's a heavyweight. Miss Twerksome is kind of like a middleweight.
Yeah.
Different weight class. Didn't say anything was wrong with that. You need
Yeah.
the
Why are
weight
you
classes.
laughing?
Yeah. Different weight class.
You know, we don't hate big women in our
Yeah,
community.
in our
We
culture, we
actually,
embrace that shit.
Yeah.
Shout out to Ghetto Barbie. Ghetto Barbie got
Yeah.
the tattoo right there on the ass. So is there anything that's the equivalent, I'll ask again, of twerking for women? Like, is there anything, because I know that women like to go to these male strip reviews where they actually give the guys actual hand jobs and blow jobs and stuff like that.
Let me tell you which women not going to that.
You don't do that?
What the fuck? I
You've
look
never been
like
to-
spending money to. Okay, yes, I've been to strip clubs. But
You've
I'm
never
talking
seen
about
dancingbear.com?
No.
Have you seen that site?
No,
You've never seen the dancingbear.com?
no. I mean, I've seen the paint parties with the. You seen that? That's the new thing. Like
Oh,
the
what's a paint
stu-
party?
where I forget what it's called, strip and paint or something. Where like a nude model, like you paint a nude model, it's a man, and but it's usually like a stripper dude. So he's kind of walk around like.
With his dick out?
Yeah.
Helicopter and shit.
You
like
want to see a
that?
picture? My
I don't want to
friend
see
sent
it.
me one. Okay.
Well, like
So I don't. So to your question, is there a male equivalent? So I guess that would be something along the lines of a not non-sexual, but like short of pornography, right? Like it's not porn, but it's
not
like
porn,
real, but it kind of
but
turns
it
you
could be
on.
porn.
Right.
It's yeah.
Okay. Well, the D'Angelo video, as I mentioned earlier.
The D'Angelo video.
that was one of them for me for a while. I guess
God, you women are so complicated.
no. Why?
All we got to do is have the chick shake her ass. It's simple.
I know. I'm saying so like.
You guys want chicken noodle soup
No.
to be made.
No. It's stop. It's that when I think of the guys that kind of post those sort of like little lip licking kind of like, dudes who kind of see who in the way the Miss twerks and knows this thing that she has and what she can do with it. Like the guys that are like, I'm real pretty and I got, you have the 3 cuts in their eyebrows. Like that to me doesn't.
You don't like it.
Doesn't turn me on. Like because they look. I'm not attracted to men that are really into themselves and that like.
What about Kofi from Queen Sugar?
He's a beautiful man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, but he's very attractive. And I don't see as much from him online as I see some of the other really pretty men, so maybe he's not guilty of that, but the ones that are real, like constantly posting selfies and just kind of, the selfie is one thing. When I see you kind of like looking at yourself,
feeling yourself,
that turns me off a bit. But what was I gonna say? So I don't think there's actually a real equivalent, but I will say, I'm trying to think like what's the thing. I don't know. I just like men. I just like looking at men. Like you don't have to be like. I guess like the gray. I was gonna say the gray sweatpants thing.
Gray
is
sweatpants.
Like a nice
eggplant, dick prints.
The print, yeah.
The dick print is the dick print to you is equivalent to the twerk video.
Yeah, I like those like a lot. Like that's just.
Watch this question right here. Yo, Jason. Who's the hottest black woman in the world? Watch him struggle. Come on, think of somebody. Don't say Rihanna. You can't say Rihanna.
Or Beyonce.
Who's the hottest? P. Henderson. Okay, so you changed your name. Taraji P. Henderson. She overall Imperial.
Gabby Union.
Younger Gabby Union. She looks the exact same fucking way that she did when she came out.
Are you kidding? She looks better.
She looks the exact same way she did when she came out.
And she looks better. Like she's
That's how I know
prettier.
you lying. You don't fuck with sisters. I don't believe. I don't believe that they appreciate our sisters the way they should. Except for Maddie.
Might have a ghetto Barbie thing. Like,
yeah, he might. He see how he brought up ghetto Barbie.
Like,
remember what? See, yeah. Bullshit, nigga. Like. Remember I told you earlier on he treats on his wife with black women. This is ghetto Barbie. Y'all give it up for Jamilah Lemieux. Give it up for Jamilah Lemieux. Let me tell you what I learned today. This is very important. I learned some stuff today. Number one, I learned about neo-feminism and why. Neo-feminism.
Oh, my God.
I learned about why it's so super important to embrace our sisters, to call them in and not call them out, okay? And work towards a better understanding between black women and black men. Because I do believe that one of the main things that's holding back black ascension is that there seems to be a fracture between black men and black women. And black men don't think it exists, and black women are all too aware of it. Black men really think that it was, to me, I remember one time I was having a conversation with my friend Lauren, shout out to Lauren Bell, one of the smartest ladies I know, some time ago, and I said something about what the white man has done to the black man. And she said specifically, what about black women? And at that point in my life, I thought everything that happened to us had happened to you guys.
Were you 35?
No, I wasn't 35. Chill.
How were you?
It's maybe like 27.
Okay.
And so at that point I thought but I realized that you guys have specific needs. Women, period. Specific needs.
See, not all women. We talking about black women right now.
Okay, we talking girl, like Crystal said. Girl, I said black.
Okay.
And so it's very important that we get on the same page.
No, that was Netta with the girl I said black.
That was Netta.
Tweet?
That was Netta. Okay. I just mixed up Crystal and Netta. But it's very important. And it's as important that black women get some hobbies. I'm going to start taking out some Groupons and sending them around, get y'all to some pottery classes.
Wait. Who gonna, Van,
yeah.
Who gonna do all this stuff if we off doing hobbies? Who gonna take care of y'all?
That would make us take care of ourselves if you guys had, you think.
No, y'all just call us negligent.
You think we gonna starve? We not gonna starve. Y'all get some sisters invested to yourselves.
Listen, some of y'all walk around using the same bar of soap until it is the size of a grain. You probably got a bar of soap the size of a sugar cube.
Real shit. I broke that motherfucker yesterday and spreaded it around the wash.
And you have money, so imagine the person who actually has to think about his purchases at the Family Dollar.
It's true. Black female haters, Maddie and Jason. Clap for Jamilah Lemieux one more time, man. Now okay, fine. Just clap for her. You don't hate black women.
What did I do? He said clap for me. He said clap for you.
Yeah, Black Female Empowers. Clap for Jamilah Lemieux. We really appreciate you joining us today on the Red Pill Podcast. Thank you so much.